Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports titles. Deposit with convenient payment options. Cool mini games. And 24/7 support for players. Sign up now for the best esports bets at gg.bet.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. It has just gone black. There we go. Good start, but yeah, we're back with the Season 6 Star Ladder Qualifiers. Said it all backwards, because why not? And we are going into our second map of the upper bracket Group C finals. So one of these teams is going to be going through to the second stage. Obviously, second stage, you play all the way through that playoffs bracket, and it gets you to the LAN finals. It sounds very, very easy when you say it like that, but there's plenty of teams. Obviously, 2 teams from each group go through. They play against each other, first and second. Then we add 4 more teams in, because why not? Let's make it even more difficult. And then after that, yeah, play it all the way through until somebody comes out on top. 1 spot goes to EU, 1 spot goes to NA, and 2 lovely Asian teams will be getting themselves a place at the finals as well. So yeah, definitely going to be interesting. Of course, we've got all our invites. Don't forget about them. So it's definitely going to be a LAN finals to watch. Of course, in Kiev, as always. So if you are Ukrainian, well, come say hi, because I'm here right now. But yeah, we're going to be going into map number 2. Obviously, Imperial able to take things in a close 16-13 fashion. In fact, it came down to a 1v1 for NATO versus Esperanto. And I honestly think if NATO won that clutch, well, the economy wouldn't have been great for him, Imperial, and it probably would have gone to OT. Like, if I was a betting man, I know that we will eventually have some odds coming up on your screen from GG Bet, and yeah, I would imagine now this map probably slightly more in favor of Sprout. I think we've seen a good showing from Imperial, but that map is their bread and butter. That is the map where they have made their name and continue to make their name. The question is, can they continue that onto Train? And, well, already Nobber is going to be going down. He's changed his name to just Lob now. And, oh, we got a few name changes. Nexo as well. But, yeah, well, both the name changes are actually going to be dead within the first few seconds of this round. The CT side getting off to a killer start. It's Pound and Nuke to try and close things out. And interestingly, the T-side pistols from both teams have gone awfully both times. I think both times, in fact, on Mirage, it ended up with a player in the Palace who got 2 kills and then died. Like, that was the pretty much identical round, and while this one is not going much better, absolute decimation. A team ace even for Sprout. Every single player of their wonderful family chiming in. And those are actually their words, not mine. I do love the sort of background staff of this team. Got a lot of really, like, kind comments yesterday, like just sending me messages like, oh, I'm glad you've noticed that we consider ourselves a family, and from like the management. It really, really nice team. And they wonderful on Twitter too, so definitely a fan of this organization. But we'll see whether or not they are going to be able to bring this back in this series. Deagles on to the Imperial side, and they've got some pretty dirty Deaglers, or some deadly dirty Deaglers over on their side. Lobber had a very quiet first map. I still wonder if the jitters of him playing officials are there. He sort of admitted to it yesterday that playing the first match was a little bit daunting, but I'm hoping we can see the best from him, because I think he's definitely got the respect of a lot of these players, and that is something that's not easy to have, I will say. They've got a lot of personalities, which is a kind way of saying about some of these players, but hey, you gotta love it. CT side, ooh, there you go. Oliver will step up and find himself a kill. He does manage to help with the push on towards the site. Now, a lot of rifles in at the moment for the CT side, so they don't want to lose too many players, and there we go. He has risen in this round at least. Tapping away, the FAMAS will put him down as NATO, who has changed his name as well, brilliant. Actually, now it comes down to the 1 versus 1, just like the end of the previous map, but this time Esperanto can't win the duel. It comes way too close though, and what, consider this. That is 4 rifles and a scout purchased up by the CT side. They lose 3 rifles and a scout. It's only NATO keeping that FAMAS in play. Everything else is lost. And, well, Esperanto's going to go straight back in for a deagle buy. We'll leave him a little bit limited going into the first round. 2,400 will give him enough to buy an AK-47 and a flashbang. Or to drop his pistol and rebuy it. Not that I would suggest doing that, but hey. Looking to do some more damage. And if he can, that would be brilliant, because the CT side have already taken such a dirty hit in the last round. Spiddy going to be playing that classic solo B player. Not an easy role, that's for sure. A role that normally involves a lot of sacrifice, but look at this from Percy. So well timed. Ooh, okay. A little bit dicey with the spray, but we can forgive him. Are they going to be able to deny nuclear? Bomb plant hit. That's a success. That's more than a success. CT side keep it flawless, which is great for them as well. It's not like, from their point of view, this is an awful round. They keep every single player alive, which is important considering how the last one went. But from the T side, okay, you lose every single player, but any money invested is gone. Spoke about sort of Esperanto only going to have himself an AK, armor, and a flashbang. Now he gets some utility behind it as well. May even be enough to get, yeah, actually an AWP for nuclear. So, yeah, big difference. Big, big difference to what's available to them in this round. So now we look towards his T side. Now, the CT's keeping it flawless has actually helped them quite a bit, because even if they just get 1,400 into the next round, that's enough for every single player to buy rifles, armor, and maybe even a nade or 2, especially when you consider any kills they get in this round. But they don't have the AWP onto NATO. He's left with the budget. Scout gives him a bit more movement, but severely takes away in other factors. Cyclone's gone very aggressive over towards that Ivy spot. He's going to go down, and already 2 quick openers for the T side. They do look to get rolling into their buy round. The remaining players left with an SMG, a scout, and a FAMAS. Definitely not ideal. Well, now the T's actually look like they're going to start rotating their way over towards this B site. Cyclone, oh, he spots all of them, panics a little bit. And Nex is just going to say, here, have a Molotov. Get out of there. We don't want you anywhere near us. The one thing I can say, though, is at least he's given some information. NATO going to be there with the scout. Does hit the tag, but the cross will come in. Spiddy's managed another one, so at least brings it back into a closer scenario. Cyclone wins this battle, and actually, that's an AK into his hands. Now things actually gets a little bit interesting for the CT side. Spiddy very close, but Nexa will be there to close him down. Molotov going to be expended, but NATO gets one with the deagle instead. He does have a kit as well. A little bit of utility to be thrown down, as they're probably just going to start trying to defuse this bomb. Already, Cyclone spots one, the second as well, and NATO can peek out and take him out. The question is, does he have enough time? I think he just about has it. It will be the defusal, and that is a great retake from the CT side. Everything in that round pointed to Imperial taking it. The fact is, though, the CT side, they win their bonus round, and they get themselves a free AWP. Even buy up a second as well. It's not something I really expected with this team. Dennis is going to be picking up a secondary AWP. I think the primary is obvious, but secondary not so much. UK are going to be calling a pause. Now, they are going to invest into this one. I don't think that was one of a tactical nature, because either that or Loba's just gone back to a more classic strategy of get headshots, or words I can't say, them. But maybe just said kill them. I imagine that was just of a small technical nature. And, well, T-side, is this not the worst? They've got themselves AKs at least, a little bit of utility. And, well, they've definitely got the individual prowess that they can take this one home. Dennis will be watching. UK going to be tempting fate. There's actually a couple of players over towards Ivy from the CT side, and the Ts have 3 of their own. Possibly going to just try and throw a player over. But already Dennis is going to find that kill onto the opposing AWP of Nuclear. Yet tap his AWP in hand, but at least over on this round. We're still going to have this push looking to try and come out through the Ivy position. Actually, nobody defending anymore. And that smoke gives them a lot of presence because the CT's strategy there was trying to hold a little bit further back. The problem is, Loba trying to push through the smoke actually ends in his death. Pound and Nexa. All that is left, and they're just being decimated in this round. The first buy run going as well as it can for this CT side. Only Pound remaining, trying to at least create some cost for the CT side, but the fact is he can't find anyone. They've all just gone pushing so aggressively throughout the map. I think Cyclone's about to find the bomb as well, so that's all the info they need, and Dennis peeks back in towards A and finds a kill. Another flawless round from Sprout. Great way to get themselves back after what was a pretty dicey second round. And now the T side, well, they've got the max loss bonus, but the fact is I think it's much better for them to just go for some pistols here. Make sure they have the full buy. I think those odds are much fairer as well. Like with Mirage, I was sort of on the fence much more because it is a really strong map for Imperial. But this one should be Sprouts to take. Esperanto actually going to buy himself up an AK. Now, with the max loss bonus into the next round, he gets a kill, and that's enough for an AK and armor. I don't know how much spare money he actually had, so maybe he's got an extra $300 in there somewhere. Fact is, though, after a flawless round in the last, Sprout can actually afford to take a bit of damage. Won't want to, but they can. NATO going to be here supporting Spiddy. More utility being expended, which, again, it's just a time waster. It's infuriating for the T side, and just means they have to wait a little bit more patiently. Smoke going to be going out. Only a singular flashbang to pop these players through. Loba up above with the scout already. Nuke going to be down there. Is that AK from Esperanto, managing to at least get one. They will be looking to try and push onto the site, although retrieving that bomb isn't going to be particularly easy, as proven. And Nex has managed to find another one. Already a couple of players dropped. Not bad. Looking for a little bit more as Nexa actually finds another. This has started to get a little bit scary as Nexa gets his third of the round with that AK. Leaves it all onto Dennis with the AWP. And somehow that one AK may actually be enough. Now he's just spotted Nexa, but will he know that he's actually crossed over? The scout hit will leave Dennis very low, and he's actually watching the wrong angle as opponents looking to flank back in. Dennis over onto the AK now. Nexa going to be peeking through, doesn't spot him, and wow, Nexa with a massive quad kill to win them around. And we talk about it in the last map, the double kill that he got started off a streak for him, Imperial. It may have just done it again, as that is such a big round from him. The investment into that AK actually works out wonderfully. As said, though, that flawless round from the CT side pays massive dividends. Double AWP setup can come straight back in. Hugely expensive setup, and if they lose this round, they will be without any finances into the next. And it can very easily happen where you have one of those rounds where everything seems to go wrong. The next one you do just return in fashion. Quick trade early on will be Pound gone, and Percy just gone massively aggressive into A main and finds 2 quick kills. Esperanto and Nexa now left to try and bring this back. Of course, the T side themselves wouldn't be left with too much money in this scenario. Spiddy's already going to find another, and oh, they're going to cross paths here. Percy and Esperanto are practically back-to-back. Oh, this is unbelievable. Percy's probably going to say that this is clear now. This actually gives so much space over to SB. I think this is going to be ridiculously confusing, but I think he may just walk into the crosshair of NATO. Does still manage to take him down with a headshot. Leaves him on to just 20 HP, however. And I think Cyclone just Where did he kill him from? Was that straight through the smoke? I think it was. I wonder how confused NATO is that he got there. Just like, but he can't have come out main. I was watching main. You went through Pop Dog. Did you, like, touch tips in the smoke? Give each other a little high five and then decide to go on your own way? Meeting in no man's land? However, the fact is the damage has been done. Imperial are left onto pistols once again. If they can win this, they still have the chance to reset Sprout, who didn't make a huge amount of money in the last round, but a hell of a lot easier said than done. And this time NATO is going much more aggressive over towards that B site. Looking to try and go for this opener. Plenty of players here with pistols. Actually misses the shot. Has to be careful going back for the repeat, and Esperanto is going to punish that one. Once again, the start from the T side with these pistols is catastrophic as they managed to get themselves a two-man advantage. They retrieved some weaponry as well, which Esperanto is going to be sat up above watching. And I wonder if the CT side may even just consider saving this one. They've got such a disadvantage in this round that really all they're hoping for is maybe an overface or two. Dennis does manage to pick off Pound. A lot of damage done onto Loba as well, but it's taken a hell of a lot of time for them to get back into this site. And SP from above manages one. Loba will do the work with a pistol, and Cyclone is back to his saving stance. But what a round coming out from Imperial. There's a couple now that they haven't invested too much. It almost seems like when this team has their back against the wall, it's when they actually play some of their best Counter-Strike because, well, the 2 rounds they've won, one they had a solo AK, which I believe got all 5 kills. 4 of them picked up by Nexa, and then the other one by the man who bought it, Esperanto. And then in this round, they had no rifles at all. It's only pistols. And they managed to win it out, well, in a very strong succession. UK obviously having a bit of a quiet start, but I think you can forgive an AWP on the T side of train. Definitely not the easiest map in the world to AWP, especially when you have your opponent, who's currently 9-3, although I do believe NATO was actually 8-0 and 9-1 at one point, so a couple of rounds without too much impact. Pistols now in. Cyclone, how he didn't take a point of damage, I will never know. That was some Neo-level work, because he just... Yeah, I didn't want to say the word work. You could probably work that out, but that's what it was. Esperanto, happy to take the fights. Double op setup actually on the T side, but that's mainly because they saved it. And just finding damage through the smoke. It was first Pound managing one. Spiddy's aggression is caught as well, and NATO, well, he has a rifle, but with no armor behind it. Man whose name does sound like a Scottish person talking about their feet. Or maybe something amputated off their feet. Awful joke, but I'm sticking with it anyway. You gotta commit. I almost wonder if he would want to just give the rifle over to Cyclone. He can save and just maybe try and get something off with his Deagle, because, well, his teammate, full utility almost, and a kit. But it looks like they're both just going to save onto what they've got. They can actually drop... Oh, they found another rifle, so that's perfect. They can drop a couple of Deagles over, have a chance to at least do some damage into the next round. Imperial are more than happy to sort of have 4 players surviving here. Which is interesting, because pretty much every time I say that, somebody seems to die on this team. But by the looks of it... Oh... It looked like it was going to come close because NATO was actually right next to another player, but it is pretty much going to be what I expected. He's actually going to drop the rifle by the looks of things, not to keep the Deagle himself. Percy has full board. Are they going to go for this round? It's a bit of a weird one. If he's buying, give him the rifle. I don't really understand why he'd stick with a CZ if he's got armor and Dennis doesn't, but hopefully there's some method to the madness. Maybe he's just thinking that he can take a rifle away himself. That definitely seems like a peculiar decision. Nexa slightly missing the timing, but oh, he won't miss the headshots. 2 kills, drops one of the rifles already, and yeah, Percy's investment doesn't really achieve anything. Very confused as to what happened there. NATO will at least be able to take down one, but it's sort of a similar scenario to what we saw in the last map. A strong start from Sprout. They get themselves an early lead, and then Imperial just grind their way right back into the map. And it does take a lot to be able to do that. It's very easy to get demoralized early on in a map when you just lose a streak of rounds, but Imperial seemingly having a fair amount of mental fortitude. Pound will remove any weaponry from the hands of Sprout, who, well, on nearly all the players, they'll have a buy this round. I'm still very, very confused by the decision of Percy to buy into the last. He'll have the same buy in this one at least, but yeah, weird. Maybe if he's playing the pop dog in this round, then you could sort of say, okay, there's a chance for him to do some damage in the last, and he can play pop dog fairly effectively with the CZ in this one and give them a bit more of a chance to actually win the round. But it still just seems really odd. I'm on the T side this round. The majority of players are actually going to take an early aggressive push over towards this B site. Spiddy still playing that solo role. He had an excellent CT side of the last map. 20+ kills. Obviously, they still lost that map. Well, they can't afford to lose this one. Percy, though, this time the CZ reigns supreme. And he is going to be able to find that opener. More importantly, pick up a secondary AWP, which is something for his team. NATO will find one, but Nexa very quick on the trade. He has been excellent on this T side, but he can't do anything versus Spiddy this time. And UK, who has been dead silent so far in this map, is left to try and clutch it in a 1 versus 4. He has managed to find the first, spots the second coming up behind him. Maybe a chance. He actually hits the shot into Cyclone as well, but won't get the kill for it. And Sprout return to make it 7-4. But look at the amount of money over on the T side. Plenty of cash for a purchase into this. No troubles to buy into this next round. Already, though, Loba going to go pushing aggressively. Has the support of Esperanto, and that's a miss that could cost them for Dennis as Nexa continues to just push aggressively into this site. UK will put down Percy, and NATO is left out of the action alone on B. Is going to come rotating, but look at where Nexa is currently waiting. Comfortable kill. Sprout aren't able to hold on to a streak of rounds, and once again their economy has been absolutely ruined. The pause is going to be called. Probably going to force this round. I wouldn't be surprised. There's not a whole lot of cash for them to buy in anyway. 1900 would give them a slightly better buy, but if they force here, NATO saves, then they save one more. They can get themselves that AWP and pretty much a full buy-in. He has been one of the difference makers so far. Nexa is having an excellent performance. Not only finding such impactful frags, but most of them like opening kills as well. So, openings to the site. And yeah, they're actually going to save this one. Interesting. Oh. Okay, it looks like the sort of mix. Spiddy's going to get his trusty Zeus. I imagine they're still going to have to save into the next round anyway. So actually, they are going to force it, but just not to the full extent. So yeah, that works for me. It means that they'll have a decent buy going into round number 15. Nice shot from Dennis. Will at least net him one. Percy from above tagging players down, but oh, that should be a dunk. He actually manages to avoid it. Spiddy can at least pad his stats slightly, but shouldn't be getting much more done here. Still has his Zeus. Isn't going to be using it at all. 7-6. Imperial should have another opportunity in the next round to do the same. And Dennis actually just going to invest into another deagle. Looks like the kills of sort of kill disparity on Sprout has started to balance out, while On the other side, I've seen a little bit of awakening. I believe Nuke was 1 and 7, so 5 and 8. A significant improvement. Again, it looks like what started as a dominant beginning for Sprout has fallen into a strong finish for Imperial. Well, I definitely know which I would prefer, especially when on the CT side of the map, you're going to want to finish strong. But here we go. Nice little stack. This is quite common at this point. You see it fairly often and fairly effective as well. So we'll see if the CT side can get anything done with it. Unfortunately for them, it looks like they're about to clear the B site from Imperial. So shouldn't be much in it. Pound will go down. AK-47 into the hands of Cyclone as well. Something at least to play with. I kind of hope he brings us into the next round. Now, they did obviously save a little bit of extra money, so he could just look to try and be a hero, try and do something in this round. And, well, NATO actually going to get the kill before he can. Now it's actually into a 3 versus 3. Now, it's not a particularly strong one, but a few good shots along the way, and maybe there's a chance here for the side of Sprout. They've managed to get themselves another, and they actually steal this away. This was one Deagle. One Deagle invested, and that's enough to take a round off of Imperial. The half will go the way of Sprout, and I have absolutely no idea how they managed to win that. Bomb down, only really stealing a kill or two along the way, and then they just win fight after fight after fight, and Imperial, again, they've just got to be absolutely kicking themselves. They're still going to be having a pretty good half. Like 6 rounds on the T side is not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but just a surprising round to say the least. T side will have themselves a buyback in. They made a fair bit of money over the last few rounds. UK once more going for that opener, but NATO removes him. Aggressive push that stops the AWP having any further impact in this round. I'm expecting more from him on the CT side, that's for sure. Nexa has been the one to watch, and well, Pound is going to remove Cyclone, at least. Although with the push coming in into A main, this should give some information over to the CT side that, well, A is not going to be such a point of contention anymore. They've still got to worry about Pound's flank, but they have already fully rotated in, and there's some aggressive positions. Nexa very far forward. Esperanto with a double spray down should put this game to bed. And also the fact that Percy's flank is about to be flanked. Will he actually know his opponent's behind him? He will, and actually spins around and takes him down, gives it back into a 2 versus 2. There's still a possibility here. Esperanto going to avoid the flash, but won't avoid the bullets. And now it's left all onto Lubba to try and clutch this out. Does manage to get the first kill. NATO up above and can't hit the shot. Lubba with the clutch. 8-7. Imperial just about taking that last round of the half. Well, Lubba coming up with an impact play at least. It's as close as it can be. With, again, a strong finish from Imperial. 6 of the last 8 rounds going their way after a 6-1 deficit and a 5-0 start for Sprout. The question is, who's going to be the one taking this over the line? Of course, to stay in this series, Sprout have got to win this map, otherwise Imperial are going to be going straight through to the next round with the #1 seed. Well, I can tell you who some of the #2 seeds are at the moment. Obviously in our Group A, Windigo took seed 1 and Windstrike, used to be QB Fire, take seed #2. 4's actually winning their group means that Tempo Storm takes the seed #2. Definitely not one that you really want to be facing off against. And, well, our second seed, obviously in Group C and D, are yet to be decided. The upper bracket match, obviously right now, is Imperial versus Sprout. On the other side of things, we will have Fragsters versus Euronics to decide who takes the #1 seed in that group. And, well, to be honest, if you're going for a #2 seed, or even if you're a #1 seed, I would say whoever is the loser of this match should go on to beat either Epsilon or Prosto. So if you're getting either Imperial or Sprout by winning your group, you're going to feel pretty hard done by. At the same time, it means that we could have a matchup of, well, Imperial or Sprout versus Windigo, which I think would be one hell of a match. Fragsters in the same place. I think that'd be a great game. And even if you look at a team like Tempo Storm, I feel like they're going to be a team that, if they play to the best of their ability, maybe they'll be exciting. Obviously, I saw some stuff on Twitter today of like Zaiwu joining one of their rosters on, like, I think it might be an ESEA or ESL or something like that. Which, well, that would bring new life into that team, especially because, like, although that seems fairly unlikely, if you have Happy and RPK actually staying in that team, who knows? Match winner. Wow, those odds have swung firmly into the favor of Imperial after the first map. Let's see, our Sprout going to be able to take this, bring it back on train. A pistol round would definitely help them. CT side has won every single pistol so far in this series, and in dominant fashion as well. I think only 2 kills either way have gone to the T side. Can Sprout now change the record, or Imperial just going to be playing the same tune? And, well, they're going to want to, especially starting off on this CT side. Push from NATO. He's actually been somewhat abandoned here. It seems like it's all part of the plan to fake this back as they catch Pound, but Nexter is going to remove NATO. Cyclone managing to get another, and the Molotov looking to try and hold off the rotations, but they haven't. Nexter, though, not going to know that there's a man behind him, and Nuclear and Esperanto are going to be left to try and clutch this out. Decent position from Esperanto, but he has been spotted. Looks for the peak and will win the duel. Looking for a second shot onto the man further behind, but it's Spitty that they need to deal with, and while both kills come in within a matter of seconds, the trend will continue. Not quite as dominant as what we've seen over the previous pistol rounds, and a bomb plant will definitely change things a little bit. But the fact is, we will now see, well, probably a small investment from Sprout. They know that the AKs are coming. Pause actually called by the CT side. Of a tactical nature as well. Very early on in this game, but hey, I can appreciate it. That's for sure. No dismay when it comes to pauses. As long as it's not someone taking a very quick toilet break. Although, if it's a 30-second break, I'm pretty sure they would have actually just had to be sitting on the toilet when they started. But, well, we're just going to see the classic rush B. A secondary bomb plant is always helpful for this T side, and this is the most common second round strategy. And interestingly, even though it is the most common, we've actually only got one man defending the site. Quite surprising. Maybe expecting a bit of a force here, but the bomb went down. You can somewhat expect that they're going to try and get it down again. The chances of winning the round are slim to none. And by the looks of things, it should be another one. It should be fairly easy, in fact, yeah. I don't think there's really much they can do about this. Maybe if a nade is dunked in, Dennis even going to find a pick as well, which always helpful. But yeah, second bomb plant. No problems there for Sprout. They achieved exactly what they were aiming to do in that round. And yeah, I'm always surprised. I suppose if you do play close and play over towards that B site, there's the risk that you'll lose a guard and maybe have a chance to actually lose the round. But I'm just more surprised they only put one player on B, because in all honesty, even if they had forced, you had a massive advantage with the weaponry on the A site anyway. But hey ho, keep 4 players alive. That's the most important thing for Imperial. But this is the power of that secondary bomb plant. AKs will be in. Utility galore as well. And the CT side, although they keep it fairly clean, the bonus not really there so much anymore. This is much more about just a buy round. An important one for either side, a chance for Sprout to level things up and a chance for Imperial to really build into their CT side. Of course, there's a lot of juicy AKs over on the other side of the spectrum for them to retrieve. 3 players over towards Ivy in this round, with Pound looking like the first point of contention. Minute left on the clock as T's still looking pretty damn dedicated over towards this A side, but with the aggression coming out from Esperanto, the CT side can much more heavily gamble. Robber going to be making his way aggressive initially. The peak coming out from Nexa will be met with Dennis as they do finally get that opening pick. It's been a long time coming. Pound looking to try and find stuff through the smoke. Did a lot of damage previously, but this time not to be. Nuke slightly caught jumping up, but he'll still get himself 2 kills. 2 integral ones at that. Now the clock starts to tick versus this T side. 30 seconds left on the clock. Esperanto makes a decent play in from behind as he will get that opener. Sprout turn things back slightly, and he's almost caught, but actually peeks in towards the Molotov. Is left onto NATO, and they can't win it out. Nuke and Esperanto doing the heavy lifting in this round. Now the T side are actually going to take a pause of their own. Loss bonus will begin to build. They can have a buy into the next round. AWP can get into the hands of NATO as well. Winner of map 2 even now in the favor. It started off as, I think it was 4 for Imperial, but clearly the alive betters, after watching this map, have changed their tune. I can't really blame them. Imperial have looked good. For such a new roster, definitely got some bite behind all the talking. Which I think is pretty much fair. If you can walk the walk alongside talking the talk, then I don't think so many people have a problem with it. Or if they do, you're not really going to care. NATO. Anyone left alive? Deagle in hand. Not really expecting much from him in this situation. Pulled off some impressive plays in the past, but this would probably be the king of them. A 1v5, a Deagle. Well, Lobo will take him down. T-side, as said, now this is where the big buy begins. They can get that AWP. They can have rifles, full utility, everything they desire. But this is where they need to start stepping up to the plate, because we saw what could have been a big CT side. 5 rounds to start, 6-1 up even, before we saw any sort of resurgence from Imperial. But as said, that's what I've been so impressed with this team, is their ability to just grind back rounds. And for their star players to continue to perform. Nexa, Esperanto, Pounds had a pretty good day as well. Well, speak of the man, he is going to go for an aggressive peek, and NATO more than ready for that. Even blind knows roughly where his man's going to move. Does give the man advantage over to the T side, at least for now. And on a map like Train, you normally see the CT side in this situations look to try and hunt for a way back into it. Some counter aggression. It's definitely a map that allows for it. So many avenues of attack. Normally means that if you can find the right place, there will be a 1v1 duel. Or just a lot of space. Either one can give you quite a bit. Nexa well positioned, already finds one. That's the bomb as well. Bomb's gone in first. This gives an opening. NATO will be able to find the second kill. Nexa still just surviving on the site, and the clock beginning to tick. Loba comes in from behind, and he sprays down 2. Spiddy will finally put him down, but too little, too late is left into him in the 1 versus 2. Pound will close it out, 12-8. And well, now the T side starting to look a little bit flat. 12 kills on every player except for NATO. Only going to be some pistols invested into this round. Decent amount of utility invested into it as well, though. Already smoke starting to rain over, but the counter utility from the CT side is holding them back. They'll leave Nexa here. As the Catalyst, had a pretty damn good T side, has continued it on the CT side as well. Loba going to be waiting. Manages to duck into the smoke before they actually spot him, but actually he goes down anyway. The pistols definitely doing their job at the moment. Nexa's been spotted as well, but wins the battle. However, won't secure anything more than that. It is left onto Esperanto and Pound. Spiddy, I think he actually shot his own teammate there, so gives away his position without much in return. Pound peeks in, hits the dink, but nothing more to be had. And now Esperanto really just looking to try and find some exits, and instead he actually loses the AWP. Sprout back on the board. It's a pistol victory that shouldn't have been. Now the damage to the CT economy starts to be noticeable as well. And they can juggle some weapons over. Could actually pick up an AWP here, but instead they've opted to go for the rifles and utility. Unless Esperanto wants to bring in one for himself, which he will. And considering he's been playing up a B for the majority of these rounds, it's not actually too much of a problem, but they're actually changing things. He's going to be back on A once again. Same as the previous round, this time with an AWP. Loba will be the one to take the hit. However, will Sprout be reset once again? They've had some problems with economy already in this match. Dennis already going to be pushing out on towards the site. Flashbang is perfect as Loba's able to get a quick trade, which is normally all he really needs. It's the rest of the players we look to do the heavy lifting, ironically. The round has ground to a halt. Next are going to be boosted up. Spiddy, will he be ready for it? The spray is wild, but Nexa will correct it in time, give the man advantage back over to Imperial. Dennis will be able to quickly turn things back as Pound adds another to the death toll and looks to try and fight a little bit further and even catches Dennis as he tries to run around. It's now all left onto Percy. Nice shot onto one, but Pound very quick with the trade. And once again, Sprout's economy is going to take a nasty hit. Should have enough to buy into this round. Just based off the back of actually winning with the pistols. Managing to pick up a lot of weaponry in the last round to save them here. Question is, have they managed to juggle the weapons round enough to actually put one on every player? I don't think they will have done, no. Couple of pistols still in play. CT side still on the brink, though. This is not done by any stretch of the imagination. It's again looking like the last map where a critical round or two, a clutch play along the way, could be enough to finish things off. It came 16-13 last time, and that last round victory came to a 1v1 that could have left Imperial in the last round of the map with a weak bye. Same scenario coming up here, but Esperanto is going to kick things off. Finds a kill onto Spiddy. Push will be coming down the ramp as the T's look to get in onto the site. Already Nexa manages another one, and well, Dennis has managed to get himself very close. It seems they're aware, but actually takes a kill anyway. However, they're just being traded left, right, and center. It's left all onto NATO, 50 HP and AK, and 4 players breathing down his neck. He manages the first, but Esperanto is very quick to make sure that trade comes in. Now the T side, once again, are going to be left in trouble financially. AK's picked up for the CT side, and actually the Ts are going to opt to force it once again. Still trying desperately to break this economy. Nade in, not going to do a huge amount, and I wonder if Lobber may expect him to have gone for a bit more of an eco here. He still manages to get the opener. Again, will be traded out, but that's still fine. Found all the information for his team. Nuke, however, will be caught with his pants down, and this time it doesn't look like it's going so well with these rifles almost. Down to the 1 versus 1 once again, but it's Esperanto to be that rock for his team. A much more spread out performance from Imperial. Pound again putting up numbers. Esperanto and Nex are exactly what we expect from them. And more Sprout. They've sort of forced themselves into a corner here. They didn't want to play for overtime. They've managed just 1 round on the T side. A lot of close rounds in there. And actually that 1 round was based off of pistols. Not a single rifle round going the way of the Danish-German mix. It looks like they may be heading into the battle tomorrow to fight for that 2nd place spot in the group. Of course, both 1st and 2nd do make it out. It is a double elimination bracket. Here we go. Going into what could be the last round of the half, unless a hero arises for Sprout. They've invested all they can into this round, and it comes up with pistols and some utility. Already some early nades just being expended by the CT side. They don't want to allow for any of these rushes to come in onto the site. Nexa goes aggressive, but is met with Dennis. The Deagle able to rip off his head. Pound is just going to be waiting on the angle to try and deny them presence of that AK. I don't think he's going to be able to. In fact, they're going to try and run boost past, and he's already gone. So it is going to be an AK into the hands at least. Dennis earning that one. Now the CT side left with a man disadvantage. Still strong on the weaponry. Robber more than happy to still play with this trusty MP9. Ashbang going to fall in, and there we go. There's the trade already. UK finds another one. Doing work with that AWP as the push now comes in from one direction and one direction alone. 1 by 1 they fall, and it will be Imperial to take this in a 2-0 fashion. We weren't sure what to expect from them on train, but really they did strut their stuff once again. Individually sound, and actually did very, very well on the CT side. They only dropped 1 round, so that'll be them going straight through out of this group into the 2nd stage of the qualifier. And well, we'll find out who will be joining Sprout in that decider match just a little bit later today, I think in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So make sure you come back for that, as we will have Epsilon versus Prosto. Either way, for now, we're off to a break.
Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports titles. Deposit with convenient payment options. Cool mini games. And 24/7 support for players. Sign up now for the best esports bets at gg.bet.